Hello folks, hope you're doing well, and Dead Island 2. So basically Dying Light without parkour and volatiles, but still super fun. We press new game and get an opening made for TikTokers, filled with cheeky dialogues explaining what went down right before the game kicks off. But before that happens, the game makes us choose a character, who's called a Slayer. As you can see, there's only one option, God is Witness, so I pick it and the game begins. So I wake up in a crushed plane with pain in my back, use a medkit and instantly feel better. I step out of the wreckage and spot a plane engine ready to explode. I recognize the threat and step back, but the sneaky thing waits until I come closer just to blow up in my face. A few meters later, I reach the tail of the plane and hear the voices of survivors. I open the door and for a moment they mistake me for an infected, but seconds later the zombie apocalypse politely waits in the corner while the main problem now is finding suitable shoes for the lady. Then I hear some groaning under the wreckage. I lift it up and discover a Vietnamese Andrew Tate. He points at the neighboring wreckage. I assume his brother is there, but he says his wife is trapped underneath. Out of nowhere, we start hearing an approaching zombie horde, and the lady, along with her henchmen, decides to make herself scars, scribbling her address on my arm before disappearing. I stay for the after party to dance with zombies and finish off Vietnamese Andrew Tate and his new widow, but before that happens, she manages to bite me. The prologue is over and my emotional baggage, packed with intense action, is already tearing at the seams. The next task is to get to the address I was given, however, there's a minor issue. A whole mansion of hungry zombies just happens to be in my way, so I start pulling weeds in the garden, then head inside to tidy up and grab whatever junk might help me not die later. On the way out, I get ambushed by a couple of hippos in a pool with a cute inflatable flamingo. I win the fight, crack open a soda, and somehow feel much better. As I get closer to my objective, I spot two cute girls giving CPR to a fallen man. I try to help, but let's just say it doesn't go well. Finally, I find the house and immediately feel the consequences of being bitten. I enter the house and instantly forget about the headache because a Mexican maid sees the devil in me and points a gun straight at my face. Luckily, the woman who invited me, Emma, manages to calm her down, probably by reminding her that the president is Trump and she could be marveling at a Mexican sunset as soon as next Tuesday. Next moment, I black out. I wake up in a gym, handcuffed, with Emma holding a gun, still unsure if I'm infected. Then her henchman runs in, saying the house is surrounded. She says the cuffs are a toy. I rip them off and get to work. One more soda and I'm back in the ring. I decide to go for the zombies' heads, because their breath is unbearable. After the job is done, I find a battery and use it to close the gate. I'm back in the house, trying to calm down the Mexican maid and the others. Emma welcomes the news with a glass of whiskey, then out of nowhere a Blade cosplayer with a ring in his nose bursts into the room and yells he's immune. Emma doesn't seem surprised and points out that I'm also immune, casually calling me they.
So are they.
First I was confused, why they? But then I realized I'm in LA. Now that I'm sure the chances of turning into a zombie are slim to none, the odds of becoming a vampire don't seem too bad, especially since I can see my reflection in the mirror. Then I go talk to Emma again. She's panicking, ranting that there is no way out and we're basically bone snacks in the making. After that, she sends me for Halperin Hotel for help, so off I go. On my way to the hotel, I don't waste time and have as much fun as I can by reducing LA's population. I keep clearing out random houses, feeling like a Mexican maid. I even clean out the junk from their pools, knowing I won't get paid, or even thanked. The streets get the same treatment from me. Since my Slayer is a firefighter, I can think of a better use for this battery than just tossing it into a puddle full of zombies. Luckily it works and I carry on. Alright, I make it to the hotel and greet the first zombie with a glorious slow-mo dropkick. As it's scorching outside and I'm sweating in a firefighter uniform, I think about changing, but eventually decide not to. Instead, I head to the security booth to see what's going on here, only to find it closed and empty. I try to sneak in, but of course that triggers the alarm. As I'm going about my business, I'm shocked to see a security guy show up. Even when he's dead, he still comes to check when the alarm goes off. That's what I call post-conscious, when you're a zombie, but you're still kinda driven by whatever you used to do when you were alive. And don't bother googling it, I just made it up. I've seen a couple instances where zombies had post-conscious. Next up on my to-do list, check the underground parking. I boldly head in, spot my prey and get ready to start making a salad, but it's pitch black and I totally forget about my flashlight. Long story short, the salad gangs up on me and I die for the first time. Rookie mistake, round 2. I roll up my sleeves, ready to finish what I started, and spot a warning. Stay away from zombies with a skull on their nameplate, unless I want to swap roles and become a salad myself, but it's too late and I lose round 2 as well. So I change my plans and head to the hotel entrance, clearing a pass as I go. I get inside and what do you know? My huge fan base is already waiting for me. I pull out my axe and start handing out autographs. Once everyone's satisfied and has settled down, I make my way inside, just in time to catch a radio message saying there is a shelter and medicine available for anyone still alive. Well, too bad, most of the guest list is already halfway through the afterlife. In the courtyard, I see a soup being made. I'm a bit of a cook myself, so I can help but join in and add my own ingredients. While there are still no guests and the soup is brewing, I decide to look around. After watching some fireworks and helping the bridesmaid pull herself together, I come to the conclusion that there is a wedding about to happen. I don't want to show up empty-handed, so I carefully pick out a wedding gift. But I want something special, something that sticks in your head or your neck if I miss. Okay, I go inside and find the remains of the bachelor party. Not bad, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if the groom woke up somewhere in Tajikistan. I make my way through last night's aftermath and stumble into a roadblock. I try to kick my way through, but the obstacle refuses to cooperate. Looks like it's time to put the gift to use, proving that I really made an excellent choice. Somehow I end up crawling through a ventilation shaft, feeling like John McClane and wondering if I'm even going the right way. But when I spot one bridesmaid, and then another, I start to feel hopeful. The only question is, how did they even get here if they don't have legs? I land in the same hotel and immediately start helping guests with their makeup, going from room to room and collecting tips along the way. When the job is done, I make my way to the ballroom, as I suspected the groom has fled, and who can blame him? Since I'm a firefighter, I immediately get to work putting out the bride's fury when she realizes there is no one left to take half his stuff from. As a man of culture, I drink my soda and give her the last dance, which she doesn't survive. Once the hotel is cleared out and there is nothing left to see, I decide to head back and share my story. It's already night, so I think it's time for something stronger than soda. I politely walk into the first bar I see and head for the counter, but of course it's a bar at night, so you know how this goes. I start teaching local folks some manners left and right, while also picking up trash from the floor. I head out for some fresh air and see someone on the roof. I get closer and sure enough, it's exactly what I expected. 15 years ago, seeing someone up there meant you had to talk them down. These days it's just another TikToker. Since I've got only one viewer on my channel and it's my mom, I figured that maybe we can help each other out. She films while I, together with the local inhabitants, do a series of stunts. The first thing we try is jumping off the roof. There is a pool below, so everyone lands safely. To get the perfect shot, it usually takes a few tries. Of course, it's all staged and nobody gets hurt during filming, but after a while, things start to get a bit boring, so we decide to turn up the heat. Luckily, it doesn't take long to find volunteers, and suddenly the footage starts looking a lot more promising, just like my chances of getting more subscribers. So I come back to Emma and tell her there might be a cure and we can all survive, but she barely reacts. I mention the wedding I attended and how it ended, and the next thing I know, I'm being accused of misogyny and told I don't get women at all. I point out that the bride was actually a zombie, and now I'm zombie-phobe too. Then she complains she's bored, says her henchman has vanished and asks me to go find him. I go ask a Mexican maid if she knows where he's gone and share the same story I told Emma. In return, she threatens me with a comb and says he might have gone to Beverly Hills. So here I am, I quickly find his house, but it seems he's not home. I start investigating, and judging by the cheese sandwich that looks west and spilled coffee pointing east, I conclude he went to Jesse's place. To prove myself right, I go to check his room and stumble upon a guy whose head I've already cut off once. This time I send him to meet Nikola Tesla and hope he stays there. I start searching for Jesse's place, wandering into random houses. Turns out, my chances of turning into a vampire are dropping too. Obviously this isn't the right house, but here we go again. But this time I combine my last two efforts and hopefully we don't meet again. After spending some time as a squatter, I think I finally found the right house. But the sentient blend of booze and weed at the door won't let me in unless I clear his garage of unwanted guests and close the gate. No problem for me, a good cook always keeps his knives sharp. Actually, there is one problem, Jessie isn't home, so I head out to find her. After kicking some ass, disarming a few traps and setting a couple of my own just to keep things interesting, I finally track her down. She hands over the henchman's coordinates, so off I go on his trail. But that, my friends, is a story for another book. And if you had fun watching this video, well, that's great. I'm out of here. Till next time, folks.